Hello, it's me, Darryl, Florida Catholic guy. I don't know if I posted yesterday's video yet, so you might get two for today. But today I wanted to talk about the carnivore diet, which has done, I won't say miracles, but pretty close to it for me.
2215 West Del Webb Boulevard. Cross streets are Alexander Crossing Way and Sterling Land Court.
Just out with a girl here. You know, of course, I'm sure some of it has to do with getting out walking more, but obviously the carnivore way of eating, I don't like calling it a diet because it's pretty much a permanent way of eating if you do it right. And I mean, just for proof of that, every time I've gone off of that way of eating, I've put back all my weight and then some. So it's been proven, at least to me, to be the most effective way of eating. And well, I can't say it's gotten rid of all my issues because I still got some issues with arthritis and
false alarm.
You know, my diabetes numbers. Let's go. Come on.
We're available from AMR Tampa.
My diabetes numbers haven't been perfect, but today is a day that they've gotten pretty close to perfect. I woke up, actually I went to bed with numbers in the 80s, 70s or 80s, which is perfect. And I did drop down into what they consider low for like maybe 5 minutes. I got down to like 68 or 69, and I came right back up to, 70s and 80s. The highest I had is when I had my coffee this morning. I had my usual 2 cups. I think I got into like the 130s, like 132, maybe as high as 138. But within a half hour, I was back into the 90s and 80s again. And when I had my second cup of coffee, I only went back up into the hundreds, the low 100s, maybe 110. I don't know because I was sleeping, but I did take a nap this afternoon, but only for about an hour and a half. I didn't, do the usual all-day nap like I've been doing before I started to get healthy. And the only reason I did it is because this thing woke me up this morning at 9 o'clock when I usually get up at 11:30. But even so, sometimes I get up at 10, sometimes I stay until, usually she wakes me up about 10 to go out. I end up staying out, but 9 o'clock is about an hour too early, so I did go back for a nap. And actually, I did go back, if you want to call it 2 naps, I did go back from about 10 to about 11:30. And then I went back from about 3:30 to 5 o'clock, so I was going to get up at 5:30, but she woke me up again wanting to go out. So obviously I stayed up and did our walk after she did her thing. But anyway, getting back to the diet, the way of eating. I hear a lot of people, when I suggest this way of eating, say, oh, I tried it and it didn't work for me. Well, maybe some people don't need it. I mean, but if you're like me and have diabetes, I had a fatty liver, starting to get arthritis, and basically had all kinds of health problems starting. And at 53 you say, this is when it usually starts, but I've had diabetes since I was, probably since 2001, I think I was diagnosed. So we're talking almost 25 years that I've had it. So you start saying, I can keep going down the road that I was going and have basically a long, painful death. I was up to 308 and pounds weight, and who knows how high I could get. Could I be like one of these 400 pounders, 400 or 500 pounders that walk? Well, actually, they don't usually walk around for that. But and end up dying at 55, 60 years old. Getting so bad that I couldn't help my mother or myself. Or do I want to change? Or do I want to change who I am and try to get healthier so I can maybe live a pretty good rest, whatever many of years I got left. And so I decided on the latter. I want to live. I don't know, none of us know how long we got. Come on, let's go. But at least the time that I do got, I want to be fairly healthy, as much as I can. So, if you got a lot of health problems, and you're saying, well, Carnivore isn't for me, and I've tried it or something like that, well, maybe you tried it for a couple days, a couple of weeks, but you got to give it at least 3 months, because the first couple of weeks, I'm not going to lie, you're going to feel like crap. I mean, there's things you can do to help yourself up, to help yourself not feel like crap. But, what's happening is, well, your body's used to running on carbohydrates and sugar. And now you got to get used to your body running on fat, and that takes some transition. That's why a lot of people do recommend, if you're going from the standard American diet, which I like to call the sugar American diet, if you're going straight from the sugar, if you're going from the standard American diet to carnivore, you're probably going to be better off starting off with keto. Keto is a less intense form of carnivore where you're allowed, you can have some, low carb vegetables. Basically like daily you'd get like 30 to 50 grams of carbs. And for a lot of people that don't have health problems, I mean, that's perfect. They can stay right on keto and be good. But for somebody like me, if I ate 30 to 50 grams of carbs, my blood sugar would be in the 300s and 400s. And so those that are like me that have all these health problems, and if you have inflammation issues, most of your inflammation and allergies are because of the sugar and the carbs that you're eating. And you know, you go to a carnivore diet, and what I recommend if you have a lot of problems is, you know, like I said, do yourself gradually down to a or however you want to say it, down or up, to a go from the standard American diet to carnivore, and then from standard American diet to keto, then to carnivore. You know, that way you're not giving a really big shock to the body, although even going from standard American diet to keto is going to be a pretty good shock. You know, people call it the keto and the carnivore flu, and there's stuff you can do to mitigate the effects of the discomfort you feel. And one of the things is get yourself a electrolyte drink. I recommend
Rescue 7.
I can't think of the name of it now, but
Lake Grove Court. Cross streets or Southview Drive.
I'll post it in the comments on the video. But it's basically a salt packet, but it has, you know, electrolytes. There's no sugar in it. I mean, the flavoring, if you get the flavored ones like I get, they have different flavors, like, you know, strawberry lemonade, you know. It's really good. I mean, it's still basically salt water, because you put it in, you put the packets in your bottle of water or your glass of water, whatever you have. And it's basically salty, but it's got a good, like, I like the lemonade myself. That's what I usually get. But I really haven't had a bad tasting packet. Because they have the, when I got my package of what I got, they have a, what do you call it? A trial pack that has all the flavors in them. And, so I got the sample package, and they were all good. I mean, they had, I think, like watermelon or something like that, and, you know, berries, whatever. But it's flavored, so it's, you know, got a little bit of, you know, non-sugar additives. You know, it's keto approved. I mean, technically carnivore, you're not supposed to be having anything, but when you're starting out, and I mean, like, I still have some every once in a while. So I just wish I could remember the name of it, because, like I said, I'll add it in the comments on the video. I guess she wants to keep going, so we can keep going. So anyway, then, you know, so that'll help you out a little bit with your digestion issues, because, you know, your gut bacteria, when you're going from a standard American diet to a keto or carnivore, the bacteria in your gut has to change from, you know, processing sugar to processing fat. And like anything, that takes a little bit of time. And so it doesn't take too long, maybe a couple of weeks at the most. So, but, you know, at this point, it's not just anecdotal, because it's thousands and thousands of people that have been on the carnivore diet have gone from being sick or sicker than I was to becoming healthier, and just it's helped people. I mean, people have gotten rid of arthritis. People have gotten rid of allergies and inflammation. People have reversed diabetes, which I'm in the process of doing. And it's also, people have even had remission of cancer, and let's go.
We're available from Joe's North. However, we're going to be out of service for end shift.
And, serious, heart disease. And, all these doctors out here, they don't know what they're talking about, because they're the American Diabetes Association, the American Heart Association, and all the people, all the doctors, they want you on all these medications so they can have a permanent customer until you die. And, the quicker you die, probably the better for them, so they can get new customers, And I don't want to sound morbid, but that's pretty much, what it is, because, if you tell your doctor, yeah, I'm eating carnivore, nothing to meat, they'll have a heart attack. And so what I usually tell a doctor is I'm eating lower carbs and, stuff like that. Maybe I'll even say keto, because actually carnivore is a more stricter form of keto, but it's like Dr. Barry, if you look up his videos, he's got a lot of good videos. He says it's basically keto on steroids. Let's go. Come on. You're not going after the birds. But I'll show you what he's interested in, or she's interested in. There's a sandhill crane. I think it's a sandhill crane. It's some kind of crane. That's over here. Actually, I think there's two of them. Yep, there's two of them. So, yeah, I don't know if you can see him. And I got this the wrong way to, let's go. I got this the wrong way to be able to zoom in, but there are resident sandhill cranes. And in fact, there's a picture, not from here, but from somebody that's somewhere in Florida. There's like 2 or 3 sandhill cranes crossing the road with an alligator, and it says Florida Street Gang. And I posted it to our community Facebook page, and I says, I knew we had a lot of gang activity up here. So a lot of people got a good laugh at that. Let's go. But yeah, you got to give, for those, especially those that have, serious or conditions that could be serious health problems. I mean, this can be a good way for you to get healthy, but I mean, give it a try, at least for, see those? Huh. Usually, if those are fire ant hills, usually if you kick them, you'll have thousands of ants come out, but maybe they're just regular ants, but I'm not going to press my luck by staying there. I don't see any climbing on me, so you got to give it at least 3 months. And you know, I don't even think I'm at the 3-month mark, and I'm probably, you know, maybe close to the 3-month mark. And you know, my latest weight is 263. The lowest I've been since my childhood was in the 270s, and now I'm either 262 or 263 this morning. I mean, we'll call it 263 just so I don't get too much of a big head. But, and I mean, look at how my blood sugars come. You know, it's almost perfect now. I mean, just a couple days ago I was crying that it was still in the 200s, and I'm not going to say that it can't get back up into that range again, but if I keep doing what I'm doing, it shouldn't. You know, and I had my normal amount of cream. Maybe I didn't have as much as I've had at times, but I still had a pretty good amount of cream, whipped cream today on my coffee. So, you know, I'm doing something right. And, you know, we'll see how my other blood work is. I think December is when I'm due for new stuff.
19th Street and North 20th
Come here.
Street.
So, we'll see, you know. But I know one thing, I feel a lot better than I ever have. And, you know, the amount of weight I lost, you're talking about, I was 308 and I'm 263 now, so 73, 83, 93, 03, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 45 pounds I've lost. I mean, think about that. I mean, almost 50 pounds gone. And I mean, I still have a big gut here, but it's not as big as it was. So, you know, I still got a long way to go. You know, I think for now, my overall or my long-term goal of where I want to get down is 200. And that would be a good number. I think my ideal weight is something like right around 180 to 190. So, you know, once I get down, if I can get down to 200, you know, taking off another 10, 20 pounds should be, I'm not going to say easy, but looks like we got another military plane flying. I mean, could be commercial, but it looks military to me. There's earlier this morning, there was a couple of B-1 bombers that went down off the coast of Venezuela, so we don't know if they're doing a training mission or if they actually did any kind of an operation, but things are getting hot down there. And now we're attacking boats off of Colombia now too, so Maduro said he's got 5,000 Russian anti-aircraft batteries that he's put along the coast. So, you know, I think I don't know if he really does have that many or not, but, and, you know, I don't hate to say it, I mean, it's good, but I don't think there's anything that he can do to our aircraft because, you know, we got those stealth bombers that can, you know, they'll be they'll have dropped their payload and been long gone before they even know what hit them. So, but it's just crazy the stuff that we're doing. But yeah, I would recommend, like I said, maybe not for everybody,
32.
but
Respond to animal bites attack.
if you have
Initial response.
some kind of
5445. Mobile drive. Cross streets are Henry
multiple
Street,
medical
US
conditions,
Highway 92.
then I would suggest you get yourself on a carnivore diet for at least, like I said, do 90 days. And I'd even consider, just a lion diet, which is basically beef, ruminant animal,
Engine 41.
and
Respond to fire alarm.
that could be commercial. I think that
Saddle
might be
Drive.
commercial, but
Cross streets are
I'm not
Drive and
entirely
Drive.
sure. It could be military or commercial. But basically, beef, butter, and water. Beef, butter, eggs, and water.
Engine 11.
You can add in eggs. Eggs are really good for you.
East Brandon Boulevard, North Pinewood Avenue. Cross streets are
And then,
318,
after you do that for a while, and start, because none of those foods should be inflammatory at all. So if you don't have any inflammation anymore, then you can start adding foods back in. The next strictest form is what they call triple B and E, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, as opposed to just beef, butter, and water. But yeah, and then you can start adding stuff in, like, start adding pork and fish if you want, lamb, basically then you can start adding dairy like cheese. And, cheese can cause, when you start adding dairy in, and I know this from experience, especially because I was adding a lot of cheese, and I still have a fair amount of it, and dairy like cream for my coffee. That can cause, it didn't cause me inflammation, but it definitely stalled my weight loss. And it can also bump your blood sugar up, because when you're starting to add milk in, and milk contains some sugar in it, so, but you can try adding it in. I still eat dairy. Like tonight, I'm gonna have ground beef and butter and mix in some sour cream. So I won't have a lot, because I don't want to stall my weight loss too much, but a little bit isn't gonna hurt you. But yeah, I would, like I said, I don't want to say everybody, because not everybody needs the strictest carnivore diet, but at least give keto a try, because you can have stuff like broccoli and berries and nuts and stuff when you're on keto. So, and I'll occasionally, even now, I'll have some peanuts, and once in a great while I'll have some like strawberries or blueberries, but mostly I stick right to the carnivore.
LS10. Respond to traffic accident.
The hardest thing for me is going to be the holidays. But I can have turkey. Come on, princess. I can have turkey, and there's some carnivore stuffing that you can make, and that may be one time, Thanksgiving and Christmas. That might be one time when I have a little bit of alcohol to drink, but not too much, because alcohol is basically poison. And the thing is, I mean, if you've been following me for a while, I know Jason has, but you know I love my rum. You know, I have rum punch, rum and soda, and you know, a lot of people have a aversion to even diet soda, but I drink one diet soda a day. In a very rare case, I might have two, but I'll have a diet soda with my meal. But Princess, no pulling.
Ladder 42. Respond to diabetic problem. 5320 Burlick Road. Cross streets are Hutchison Road
there
and
it
West
is.
Village Drive and Turner Road.
That's just a prop plane or like a Cessna. I don't know if it's a Cessna. It might be. Princess, stop pulling. We're not going anywhere if you pull. But yeah, I'll have, you know, a diet soda here and there. Like I said, usually with my dinner I'll have a diet soda, and yeah, but usually what I've been having at night is another coffee, which not the greatest, but if I cut down on the cream, it's not bad. You know, I want to try to cut out. Princess, going this way now. So, yeah, that's, and I mean, people say, well, it's expensive to get nothing but meat. I mean, it's as expensive as you make it. I mean, if you're going to eat nothing but ribeyes, then yeah, it's going to be real expensive. But if you eat a fair amount of ground beef, you know, I get the sausages, the big, you know, sausages that come in 4 or 5 to a pack. I'll cook them up. You know, there's a lot of things you can do with ground beef. You know, you can make, you know, meatloaf, you can make meatballs, you can make, I just a lot of times just put the ground beef in a pan, fry it up with some eggs and maybe some cream cheese or sour cream and with butter, and you know, that's, I mean, one thing you're going to want if you do try this way of eating is a lot of salt, because you're going to lose a lot of water, especially at first. So you're going to need to replace, and along with the water goes salt, so you're going to need to replace that salt. And you know, salt to taste, I mean, doesn't matter how much, just salt it until you like it, you know, until it tastes good for you. And spices, you'll have some people tell you, no, don't use spices. No, yes, use them. I use spices. I mean, just be careful. Don't use any spices that have a lot of sugar in them. You know, my go-to is Italian seasoning, garlic, and onion powder. And, you know, of course, salt and pepper. So, yeah, those are my go-to. And I have this steak rub when I do burgers or steak. So, and even the steak rub, I'm not sure how much sugar it has in it, but it hasn't really hurt me. So, you know, I'll use it till it's gone. But, you know, just, you know, sometimes Italian seasoning, you know, especially if you're doing meatballs and stuff like that. And then garlic and onion powder. And, you know, you can use whole garlic. The
17536 Livingston Avenue.
I got
Rush Avenue and Regal Drive.
I don't know if they're called garlic cloves or whatever, but sometimes I use that. So, yeah, I've made, you know, you can either make, or they say that, you know, the store-bought beef broth and chicken broth isn't good, but I use it, and it hasn't really hurt me. You You know, you add some beef broth and, you know, get some stewing beef, or just add some ground sausage and ground hamburg, and, you know, you can make a chili. You know, you're gonna want some, you know, Mexican seasonings, you know, some hot stuff. You make it more like chili. And even in my chili, I'll put a tiny bit of tomato paste in it. I mean, obviously that's not carnivore. We actually call it carnivore-ish. But chili needs some kind of tomato sauce to make it chili. And a little bit of tomato paste hasn't really hurt me. So, of course, I don't do it that much, the chili. You know, you can make, you know, using some cheese, you can make some, you know, carnivore nachos. Just use pork rinds as the chips. And I haven't done those yet. That's something I need to make. But yeah, that would be good for, like, you know, for Sundays watching football, or, you know, Super Bowl or something. So yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things you can, you know, for ground beef. And then if you do have some extra money, and, you know, get this big Princess, get this, the last I looked, it was about, you know, it was like 10 pounds of, I don't know if it's chuck roast or whatever, for like $70 or $80, even 7 or 8 pounds. And I mean, you cut that up, and you got, because I eat about a pound of meat a day, so you cut that up and have, you know, 7 or 8 meals. So that's, you know, pretty good. Come on, Princess, this way. So you can, if you have the money to do that, you can, you know, get these big cuts of meat for a pretty good price, and, you know, cut it up and have a bunch of meals out of it. So there's a way. I mean, even, you know, people say hot dogs are processed meat, and it's like, yeah, they're processed, but they're not ultra processed. It's the ultra processed stuff that's bad. If all you can afford is hot dogs, and you just want to, you know, make yourself up a bunch of hot dogs every night, and, you know, go to it. I'll occasionally have hot dogs. I mean, yeah, there's a mix of meat in them. I mean, you know, you get pork and beef, and, you know, you might get, you know, pork, and not pork bellies, but you might get, well, yeah, maybe pork bellies. You might get beef bellies, or livers, or whatever. But hey, that's good, because liver and all the parts of the meat, the cow, you know, especially the, you know, liver is really good for you. I don't eat it because I don't like it, but all the insides of the cow is really, really good for you. So, you know, give it a try, you know. And she needs to get in now and eat, and so I'm going to say good night, God bless you, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.